You're listening to Out Loud and Live with JC Alvarez. On this episode, singer-songwriter Justin Utley. He'll be sharing his new holiday single, All Is Bright. What a fantastic year it's turning out to be, Mr. Justin Utley, singer-songwriter, Out Music Award winner.
Oh, do tell, do tell. It's been an interesting year. I had geared up for a bunch of gigs and some touring this summer, and then COVID hit, and then everything just started getting canceled, one after the other. And I tried a couple of multi-artist lineup Zoom gigs, and it's just not the same. It's just there's that audience exchange of energy is just not there. Being able to play off the audience isn't there. The meet and greets aren't there, and and
you're an interactive performer. Like, you like that interchange with your audience.
Totally. I mean, I'm a total introvert. However, on stage, I need that energy in order to kind of keep going. Like I feed off of that with the audience. It's like an exchange, and it's a beautiful thing. And I miss that so much this year.
Hopefully we'll be getting back to that soon. So you've had to counterbalance. How have you been able to cope? Because like everyone has their own methods for coping during this quarantine isolation. What have you been doing?
I've been writing a lot. So to kind of keep things out there, instead of doing gigs, I released a couple music videos over the last few months. This new single, All Is Bright, I released to kind of give the end of the year a silver lining. I've got a couple of other music videos coming out in the spring and a new single in the late spring, early summer. So I'm trying to keep, since I can't go out and do gigs, I'm trying to keep things relevant and keeping more music coming out and more videos.
Speaking of All Is Bright.
Yeah, you're on my mind. I'd be just fine with you right beside your hand in mine. Silent night, hold me tight. All is bright, I'm coming home.
It's a song that we need right now, and I think that a lot of music artists are very tuned in and conscious to that. They're if they're going to put a song out, it's speaking to the time. It's extremely relevant. This is your first holiday track, is it not?
Yeah, it is. And I debated on releasing one just because I didn't want it to be this sticky, sweet, syrupy, cheesy holiday thing about Santa and baby Mormon Jesus and whoever else is supposed to be in there in a manger or something. And so the song, though, has been swimming around in my mind for a while. And then when this COVID hit, I felt in the middle of the summer, like, you know what, this would be an amazing way to end the year, to put something out there that gives some hope and a silver lining to this whole debacle, and to make it about enjoying the time that you get to spend with the people that you care about, whether it's in person or via Zoom or, just being able to wrap up the year on a higher note is what it's about.
Yeah, when I heard it, what resonated with me is that, because we don't have the luxury that we did before of gathering with our friends and family, but there was this kind of like laser beam connectivity that I heard coming off of the song. It was very direct. It was like a message of like, things, you can't do it the way we used to do it, but we can still all be together. I had that zeroing in feeling, which I said, I really appreciate that. I really, that's what's really hitting me.
Oh, thank you. I got chills. That's spot on. That's what I wanted. Yay.
And it sounds great. I was kind of like, there's so many artists that are releasing holiday tracks. Did you have any kind of like an inspiration for it? Like, were you listening to other songs, or because it is very authentically you? It sounds like your music, but did something bounce off of you?
Well, so when I initially had the ideas for writing it, it was before I released Scars. And so I hadn't really dabbled in a lot of the other genres that I was testing out on that album. So it does kind of lend itself to the Justin from the other two albums. So it's a little bit more on the folk rock side. But I was also listening to a lot of Lumineers, Frank Turner, and Mumford and Sons. And I really felt like, instead of making this Christmas song slow and ballady, why don't I make this something that's a little more upbeat, has some energy, and has a couple of hay and stomping feet sounds and things like that. And so really wanted to give it the energy that this year's lacked. And I think we did a great job on it. It gives it that energy, and it gives it that hope and that silver lining at the end. And the little sing.
It gives Christmas, brings back that jolly. It's like it's a really feel good song, which is great. It's
Thank
great.
you.
It's very thoughtful. So it's like I really, I'm really glad that the track is out there, and that it's, because once people grab onto it and hear it, it's, it just has that resonance, and it still feels very, very relevant and very holiday. So congratulations.
Thank you. I hope it lands on playlists for Christmases to come.
Speaking of music that's landing on playlists, I mean, it's like, I'm sure as you're crafting music, and you're kind of like thinking about, music, holiday tracks from the past, there've been some really great duets, like really classic duets, like Bing Crosby and David Bowie did, Peace on Earth. And that was like, it's like, so like, I can't believe these two things came together. And Mariah Carey with Everybody.
Yes, that's right. Mariah Carey featuring.
Who would you want to collaborate with, especially on a holiday track? Because right now there's a great amount of holiday music out there, and so many really popular genres. I mean, Dolly Parton's Christmas album is absolutely gorgeous.
Oh yeah.
And it's, it really has a lot of heart to it. Carrie Underwood is another one that has a really great feel to it. But who would be your ideal duet?
I would love to do a duet with Adele on some sort of Christmas song. Yeah, because she's got this grit and this power in her voice that can rock out or carry it out in a ballad in a way that no one else can. I mean, her voice is just so distinct. It's something that I've tried to emulate as an artist. Is when I first started to try to sing, I didn't want to sound just like any other pop artist. I wanted someone to be able to listen to a song and go, that's someone I've never heard before, or that's Justin. It's something that is distinct enough so people would know it's my voice. And I think that she's absolutely captured that. And I would love to do something with her on a holiday track, because it would be
beautiful.
Oh, it'd be dynamite. It'd be great.
Yeah. And I have a feeling it would be also really really warm. It would have a tenderness to it. Because of your voices, like when you marry your two voices together, it would have a tenderness to it.
Well, once Adele listens and watches this podcast, I'm sure she'll be reaching out. I hope so.
I'm sure she will. I mean, it's like I'm gonna make sure that she gets it immediately.
Awesome.
You had mentioned that All Is Bright came around the time that you were putting Scars together, which is your last full length LP. Can I talk a little about Scars, because I feel it's a really a profound work of yours. I mean, it's like you've as an artist, you've never been very shy about how you write your music. You've never looked the other way. You really put your heart on your sleeve when it comes to your songwriting. Scars is very personal. It's very, at times, raw.
Oh yeah. So the next video single that's coming out actually is Underneath My Skin, which comes out in January on the 13th. And I would have to say that's probably the most raw song on the album. It's about the breakup and the divorce that I went through. And just that moment when, those of us that have had relationship breakups, which I would think is probably 99% of us, realizing it's getting to that point, this breaking point where you can't even be friends with the person anymore, just because of how much of the pain that you're going through. And so it's a very it's a very honest song. It's probably one of the most honest tracks I've written. Not to say that the rest are disingenuous, but it's just a really powerful, really, really heartfelt, right from the center of my soul type of song. And the whole album itself actually is a dabble in different genres that I really tried to break free from anything I'd done previously, and really try to set the bar to where I can play around in different genres. I realized I had a vocal range to play in that I didn't really test out before. I'm hitting these
Yeah,
notes like on
yeah, but
Survivors, and I'm just like,
yeah,
wow.
you also do some really interesting production things that I found, because your music is like I said before, very authentic. It's very, it feels very homegrown, and because you are that sort of like really, guitar rocking performer. There was some really interesting, very contemporary um electronic choices on Scars that I found interesting.
Yeah. So I started working with T Hearts, this producer who has done some stuff for American Idol contestants, and he did some music for the Disney Aladdin movie.
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, he's definitely more R&B electronica, and it seemed like a weird pairing when we first started working together. And it was a
Mm.
test, a little bit of a test run. We did the song "Survivors" together, the pop version, and it's kind of a let's see how this goes type of thing. And it turned out to just be this awesome, awesome collaboration between his world and mine, to
Yeah,
where it doesn't
yeah.
really lean all the way into his world and it doesn't go back all the way into mine. It almost projects it into another world. And it was awesome to see, and to see that, to feel that movement of
Hmm.
my music center moving into these different genres and different directions, was addicting. And I was like,
Yeah.
I need to do my whole album with you. And so he was really a driving force behind, I think you should hit this note. I'm like, I can't hit that note. He's like, yes, you can. Just do it. And then
Mm.
just hit that high B flat, and I was full voice. I didn't know I could ever do that type of thing, and it just worked.
Oh,
So yeah,
I was also really, really pleased. Not only were the productions on the tracks, but you're such a strong lyricist. Your songwriting is very narrative. I've always felt that it tells such a deep story. It's like they're like almost like diary pages, and
yeah,
I love that the production didn't overpower your lyrics. Your lyrics still came through, and the message still came through, and the theme of the album, which is it's heartbreaking. I'm sure, but I felt it was very it had a cleansing sort of feeling. It had sort of like I'm dealing with these emotions. I'm okay. I'll come out on the other side. I just want to be clear.
yeah,
There was a clear resonance
yeah.
in the entire album's narrative.
It's almost like a baptism by fire type of thing. Like you're going through this absolute hell, and you're coming out on the other side, um, a clean soul. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of the journey that the album takes from beginning to end. Something that's interesting about the title tracks, the Scars itself, it was initially like a really, really fast rock and roll track. In fact, it was likened a lot to Foo Fighters when we were
Oh,
recording
okay.
it. And we recorded the demo version at the Converse Studios in Brooklyn, and me and the band, and we were ready to put it out. And then I spoke at a panel in Sundance Film
Mhm.
Festival on suicide, and my segment was about conversion therapy
Mhm.
and how that contributes to a lot of the suicide epidemic that we're seeing in Utah. Suicide is leading cause of death in young adults here more than anything else, and it's getting a little bit better now that some attention's been put on it. But at the time, it needed some discussion, and so after I spoke on my segment, a trans woman spoke about, she's also a veteran. She spoke about her experience, and suicide, and being a veteran and also trans, and how that affected her entire experience in the military. And after the panel was done, I went up to her and we spoke briefly, and I asked her about the tattoos that she had all over, and, you know, if they told a story or something, you know, is one representing, you know, where she was at in the military, or, you know, was she stationed somewhere? And one of them, there were some flowers or sunflowers going up her legs, and I asked what those meant, and she said, oh, those were to cover up the scars. Sorry. The scars that were left behind from her parents whipping her for wearing a dress for the first time. And that really, really hit me hard. And I thought about it all night. And I went back to the studio and told the producer that we needed to rewrite Scars to take it out of this happy rock and roll song and really bring the lyrics up. Didn't change the lyrics at all, but pay homage to the lyrics the way that they should be. And about that we should be proud of the scars that we have, because that's what's made who we are today. So that's where that track kind of was born from.
You know, that's your gift as an artist. You really have the fact that you had your shares of trials and tribulations, and that you've been able to pour it into your art, and through your art reach so many people. And you know, I can imagine right now, I mean, I'm just going to say it out loud, but this is one of the darkest times in our history. I mean, so many people's, civil liberties are under attack, especially in the LGBTQ community. And, you know, our democracy is being ripped apart in front of us. And, you know, that must also have, especially with your background, that must have a really profound sense of, when you go into songwriting, of a deliberate purpose. You know, it's because I hear it in the music. It's like, it's almost as if they're call to actions.
Yeah, there is. And even this new single, All Is Bright, I released it with the purpose of giving back to the community. It's the proceeds from the pre-sale are going to the Youth Resource Center of Utah, which is a homeless resource. It's a bit of a mess right now, because the Utah governor declared it illegal for a child to be homeless, thinking that would resolve the problem with youth homelessness in Utah, which doesn't solve anything. It actually complicates things, because now a lot of these homeless shelters can't take children in because it's illegal for children to be in a home. And so now this resource center that can house 300 to 400 to 500 kids can only house 70 per night. And so they're turning away scores and hundreds of children every night that need a place. And I just felt like this song about coming home, that I needed to give back to my community in a way that would give, hopefully, these kids an opportunity to have a home at some point for the holidays. So
it's I think that's at the end of the day, that's, I think, you know, our responsibility, that just that bit of you know, the simple fact that, you know, through your art, that's what you're doing, and you're drawing attention to these amazingly heartbreaking situations that are occurring right now. But you know, we do see a light at the end of the tunnel. There is hope. I hope. You know, we all stand as testaments to, you know, believing in ourselves and living our authentic lives, what that's all about. And you know, your message, you know, you've done it throughout your entire career, but certainly if you had to encapsulate it, besides telling someone, you know, to listen to your music, what is your message to everyone right now, who actually needs to hear something encouraging?
There's always hope. And there's always a silver lining. Even if you can't see it, you can make one. That is sometimes the only way you can get through some of the bullshit that you have to get through. Even if you have to paint the silver lining yourself, that you'll come out on the other side if you have hope. That's what really my message is about.
Yeah, because all is bright.
All is bright.
Isn't that great?
And it will be, and it is. This is a nice way to end the year, I have to say. It's been it's been a hell of a year with everything kind of shutting down and not being able to do the gigs and all that stuff. But I feel like, you know, this song, as well as the album Scars itself, they all kind of, it's kind of my own journal in a way. When I started writing music, I stopped writing in my journal, and music kind of became my diary. And with Scars and All Is Bright, it's almost this way for me to get closure on things, and also a way for catharsis to have its way and to work through. And I think people that listen and you know, feel the lyrics for what they are also can have that same experience. And so it's nice to end the year on a note that's a happy song. So I hope it makes its way into many playlists for the holidays.
Well, it's impossible not to listen, you know, to the song All Is Bright. It's impossible not to pay attention to you as an artist. And you know, I'm so proud of you. I not only I love you as an artist, but you know, I'm fortunate that I feel I can call you friend. And
yeah,
you know,
absolutely. You were there from the beginning, almost my first years in New York, when I had no idea where the hell I was, whether I was in the Village or the Upper East Side, just getting lost, you know.
And now you know it all.
Yeah, a little too much.
but it's you know, this, you know, it's just wonderful to be a part and see just, you know, the trajectory that you've been on, and the success that you've had. And I can't wait, you know, I can't wait for 2021 when audiences can experience you again on stage, because Justin Utley is gonna bring it.
Yes, he is. I've brought it, and I'll bring it again.
I agree. The single is All Is Bright. It's a great holiday track. The album is Scars. Justin, thank you for taking some time with me and for reaching out. And you're the best, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's nice to see you again, my friend.
Yeah, it's great to see you too. And I'm sure I'm going to see you in 2021, because that's my thing. I'm gonna see everybody in 2021.
Okay. It better. It better happen. And it will.
It better happen. All right. Peace. Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Bye.
You've been listening to Out Loud and Live with JC Alvarez. Thanks for joining us. Justin Utley's single, All Is Bright, is available for digital download across all platforms.